All right, everybody, welcome in. Sarah Fraser Show. I'm your host, Sarah. On Mondays, we recap last night's episode of Sister Wives, Season 19, Episode 13, Give Up the Ghost. It really should have been up like Give Up the Vajayjay by Christine Brown Woolley, who we had to hear about her Vajayjay wedding dress. How many dresses, by the way, did that woman try on? Didn't find any that worked, and in fact had to have a custom one made. And then the wedding gown that you see splashed all over. Let's look at it. Christine Brown wedding dress. The wedding dress that you have seen all over People magazine, which, by the way, I felt like didn't really fit her fantastic. That was actually custom made in 45 days because she really couldn't find the one that she wanted. Although this shot looks beautiful, I do have to say. It was just more like the front shot, I think, because it, she got big old bitties. And so it didn't look quite, or maybe it was the waist. It just didn't look quite tailored, was my 2 cents. Give Up the Ghost was last night's episode. Episode 13, we start at Lakai in Sandy, Utah. What looks like a beautiful restaurant. Full circle moments. I love how the producers played with us a little bit last night. If you remember episode 1, the iconic, the amazing Sister Wives episode 1, we see them at Lakai in season 1, Meri and Kody celebrating their anniversary. And then she is back with her friends, Haley and Andrea, to talk about the end of her marriage to Kody Brown. I want to go to Lakai. Looks gorgeous. And Andrea and Haley pulled no punches. Okay. That scene, they pulled no punches. They were there to tell Meri polygamy doesn't work. Ain't nobody want to do polygamy. The only part that was weird was when they were trying to tell Meri how much Kody misses her and he's already missing out. And I think that Kody is not capable of that. I don't. Kody found his soulmate in season 1. We just didn't really know it. You can't, you don't know what you don't know, And hindsight is 2020. When you have watched Sister Wives for a long time, you've seen what we thought was the slow evolution. When you became a new fan, probably 5 or 6 seasons ago, like myself, and then you go back and watch, you're like, oh, got it. You see it instantly. But anyhow, so Meri is there. This episode overall, I feel like we are definitely in the mid-season slump. I've told you guys this because I'm sure probably listened to my podcast episodes throughout the week, and I do all the Sister Wives gossip and the tea. We are getting an unprecedented amount of Sister Wives because the ratings are so enormous. The interest is so enormous. So where we would normally get 23 episodes, and by this time we'd sort of have a mid-season break, we would have, maybe we'd have a little bit of a lull, but we'd be coming back to some suspense. Honey, we even hit the midway mark. We're getting 26 episodes. 26! This is why all of these individuals are making a record amount of money. Okay, they get paid somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 an episode. People say to me, "No, Sarah, no." They get paid $40,000 per episode, and they divide that 5 ways. You guys, after 8 years, after 19 seasons, they are not making $8,000 each an episode. I can promise you that. Okay, this is the #1 show on TLC. Period. So. Meri is there at Lakai. It's gorgeous. And really, they're there to support Meri. Okay. Andrea is straight up to her and says, polygamy never works, Meri. And Meri is having a hard time with this. Meri, I think, loved polygamy. Obviously, a lot of these women have come from polygamy. They've seen it work. And, Meri's there to kind of defend it. Meri says she never recognized that he was so in love with Robyn and not the other wives until much later. And the women tell Meri that Kody, then they go on to say how much Kody must miss her. And I'm sitting there going, ladies, I was with you until y'all started on that. Don't give this woman false hope. She already still is in love with the idea of polygamy and Kody. What are we sitting here telling her? They did go on to tell her, they were saying to her, girl, time to move on. You are way better than him. You are 52 years young. And that, I think, is a thing I get from Meri when she was on my show, is in a way, she wishes that she had come to this realization earlier in her life, because then I think she thinks if she was under 50, it would be a whole different ballgame in dating and who she could attract. But to me, your 40s and 50s, I think, are the best 2 decades of your life. You really begin to figure things out. You don't give a rip what people think about you. You say what you want to say, and you're ready to like keep friends, lose friends, but you're good on who you are. So anyhow, Meri kind of goes back and forth. And I still really got a sense from these scenes that she'd still be there if he made any amount of effort, if they could do it for the family. And they're not going to. Kody is in love with one woman. He's found his soulmate. And Meri is finally realizing all the emotions. And she's even reflecting back on the anniversary that they had at Lakai, and how she was feeling so much anxiety and jealousy when Robyn came into the family. And instead of acknowledging that jealousy as a normal reaction, and an even more normal reaction if you live in polygamy, Meri's like, yeah, Kody squashed that emotion. Kody didn't want me to be jealous, didn't have any room for it, didn't have any time for it. All right. Well, Meri, we love you. We know you have moved on now. It sucks that we're not going to see that till like season 21. But I don't know, though. I do hear they really are going to massively catch up. Okay. My sources are saying they're catching up. They're catching up. Again, this episode, I didn't feel like was catching up. I felt like, why wasn't this a part of the Christine Woolley wedding special that we had to get last year? Two seasons. Just my take. So then we head to Christine Brown Woolley and her wedding dress shopping. Shout out to Boda. Boda in Utah, the wedding dress store, they got a lot of love on last night's episode, as they should. Now, a lot of Christine, if you recall, a year ago when she got married, got a ton of shit for promoting Boda. She asked people like, where's a good cake store that I should order my wedding cake from? And a lot of people felt like she was getting a lot of this sponsored. I would say from last night, how much they featured Boda. She got a free wedding dress. I'm here for all that. My wedding, same thing. Like, I got discounts on a lot of stuff, photography, makeup, everything. Like, I was promoting the heck out of I think some of my giveaway, not really giveaway, but you know what? You take like a grab bag or something. You have like a gift for guests. Part of that was powered up snacks. Honey, I did the sponsored wedding. Anyone who's been married, who goes all out, you know, you can spend 30, 40, 50, 100K very easily on a wedding. Especially if you're going to have 150 to 200 people. Easy. So I think it all proved last night that we know that Christine got some things sponsored, but good for her. David's mom showed up to the wedding dress trying on. She was 90. She is 93. Maddie flew in from North Carolina. Janelle was there. Christine's mom, we find out. And I think people had known this. Christine's mom had actually made her first wedding dress. And I don't want to be not polite to anyone's mama, okay? Because that came from love. Christine's mama, longtime polygamist, big polygamy family. Her mama made that out of love. Now, did it look like a sheet with a few stitches in it? You got it. A silk sheet, honey. Okay? I think I've seen a bathrobe more tailored than that. No offense. Hopefully Christine's mom is not listening. But I mean, we have to be honest here. We have to be honest, right? And she was covered head to toe. So I get why she's in this bridal shop and she's like, I want to show off titties. I want to show off hips. I want V-cut. Because that first wedding dress her mom made her, the only skin that was shown was her knuckles of her hands. The rest, she was covered all the way to the neck, they were joking on this episode that Christine tried on a wedding dress that made like a V to her vagina. The one that Kody had, I don't even think you could find the vagina. It was so, what? How do I find that for JJ and all that? Woo! Anyhow, so look, she was ready for sexy. She wanted sexy. She doesn't like a veil, she tells us. She wants some sort of dress where, you know how they have that kind of nude, almost like a bodysuit, and then you've got the sheer over it. She wants that. She wants neckline. She wants titty. She wants a little bit of the arm covered, but then she wants the arms open. And she got some big old boobies to like get in that wedding dress. She's got 10, 12 people in there trying on or helping her and watching her try on dresses. And she comes out after dress after dress after dress. Oh my God. So none of them, I'm trying to think if I thought any looked really great. I feel like there was one. I feel like it was maybe the one towards the end. It wasn't the one with the sleeves, though. I hated that. And the JJ dress was like way too much. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with McKelty. It had like almost a like this plunging neckline, line all the way to the coochie. The coochie was like made into a V. It was like, I don't know. It looked like maybe somebody 25 getting married might rock that. They certainly have a wedding dress for everybody. And I will say this, when I went and tried on my wedding dress, the designs that you think you're going to like oftentimes don't look as good on you as something else. And I actually ended up buying 2 wedding dresses. The first one I tried on, when I first tried it on, it was very plain, and I thought I was going to really dress it up with this elegant veil. And then when I went back, I hated it. It was like plain, boring. Ugh, it was Christine. Look at me, I'm getting wound up about it. It was not good. So I had to, I think they gave me 50% off and I had to buy a second dress. Yeah, I did. Spent way too much money. So, and then of course we reflect on Janelle's wedding day. She didn't have a wedding dress because none of her family approved except for her mom, a couple of months before she got married to Kody, came to save her from polygamy and then married Kody's dad. It is so, like, my favorite part of this family is how incestuous. I swear. This family, like, they deserve so much credit that their siblings, all the Brown kids, ain't Meri and Brianna and Aurora right now. Like, the fact that they're all keeping away from each other, y'all have broken a cycle because this family, when Janelle drops that, I mean, we just casually move right on with the episode, but that was the most interesting part last night. Can we get into the emotion of how they all felt when Kody's dad booed up with Janelle's mom and they got married and Janelle's mom became a polygamist when she came to save her? What magic did Kody Brown's dad have? So interesting. Obviously, we talk about Christine and Kody's wedding. Kody famously says he couldn't even get the day off of work because he couldn't tell his boss at the time that he was a polygamist and actually had 2 prior wives. So he had to like lie. It was not romantic. It wasn't particularly celebratory. It was sort of, all the different things. I mean, all the different things, meaning like all the kind of secrecy of polygamy, Same with Janelle's. Janelle got married in a green dress. Like, not a lot of pomp and circumstance. So Christine ends up picking out, a couple of different dresses. A couple of them were cute, but anyhow, the women are all chiming in. McKelty's the one that calls out her and says basically, this one looks like a JJ dress. How's David going to find it? Everyone's like, what? And then, I think Christine's like, David has no problem finding it. All right. And they go back to Robyn. Robyn chimes in on her wedding. And Robyn actually looked beautiful on her wedding to Kody. And the women do say, guys, in previous episodes, because I know people aren't big fans of Robyn, but they say that Robyn really made the wedding about the kids and the sister wives and included them. And Robyn, it was much bigger than Robyn. So there's, 1 point Robyn. She's like 200 points behind everybody else. But you know what? She got a point. Then we go back to Meri and the women. And, the conversation continues that polygamy does not work. Haley tells us that she is her grandfather's 85th grandchild. 85. What? Can you imagine the sperm working like that? These people are their own town. Like, how many people in a little town does it qualify to be a town? 200? I mean, these polygamy people are their own damn town. her grandfather's 85th grandchild. Their point being, they were saying when you're in polygamy, and I think it was different for Meri and Christine and Janelle, because I think probably being on TV gave them a lot of advantages. One being money. And, Ben Brown, Kody Brown's nephew, came on this podcast and he talked about how in polygamy, there's also this idea that you have to struggle. You have to struggle financially. You have to struggle with having a lot of kids and them not having a lot of luxuries, because that's what you have to do here on earth, because when you go to heaven, that's your reward. And if you've struggled and you've made it through the suffering here, you're going to be rewarded. That is some people's mindset in the AUB, a derivative of Mormonism where they practice polygamy. So anyhow, I was like, that was so interesting to me that Haley's grandfather, they had all done polygamy, and Haley and Andrea's whole point to Meri is when you are in polygamy, especially the women, but the men too, you're just in survival mode. And I would have to imagine that's true. When you have 10 kids, 18 kids, that's a lot. And nowadays, they have the internet, they have options. Like, it's just too much. And, we find out, I think what I end up learning in these episodes, which often I think a lot of people criticize as being super boring, is I find out how deep it is for Meri and Janelle. Not so much Christine. Christine's out. She's done. I think she's ready to and I admire that about Christine because I'm very much like that. When I'm done, I'm done. And I don't need to go back. But with Christine and Janelle, you can see kind of a longing there to still be a part of it. They wish they were still a part of it. And so much of it they loved. So I got it, because Meri really says that she really enjoyed it. She enjoyed polygamy. She tried it. She even tried to just stay there and wanted it to kind of work for the family with Kody and Robyn. But when Kody, for the past 7 years, hadn't gotten back to her, had left her on read, there was nowhere to go. And, okay, so we go back to the wedding dress shopping, and there you have it. We kind of go back through. Kelsey talks about the vajayjay dress. We talk about David, that whole thing. And I will say, Janelle seemed bored. She seemed bored at this point. And even Christine is like, how are you doing? Is this okay for you? And Janelle's like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Janelle says if she were to ever remarry, she'd probably get married on a mountain in a pair of jeans. And I looked at Janelle and I thought, this is somebody who is not interested. Right? Now, it looked like a super long day. So maybe Janelle is like me and she just needed a snack and a glass of champagne. Where was the champagne? That's the best part of going to try on wedding dresses, with friends, with relatives, with yourself. Like, pop the bottles. Did we see any? I don't remember. So then we go back to Robyn and Kody's house, because this was a big scene that was teased where Robyn and Kody's girls, Aurora and Brianna, come to them and say they want to join a new church. We see Kody taking out Ari and Saul. He's going to go out for the day. The kids need to get out of the house, and Robyn is there, and they're discussing the Abyss Church. Now, if you follow some of the pop culture gossip around sister wives, pictures have emerged online on Reddit of Brianna, Aurora hanging out with guys. Some people have said, and I think it's because like a friend of a friend knows them, people in the church, that Aurora and Brianna are dating guys in the church. And pictures of their boyfriends have surfaced. And then I think people have done deep dives about the church, and if it's hardcore, I don't care. If you want to go to a hardcore church, God bless you. I can't. What can I say? I'm like a Catholic. I go to Catholic mass, Catholic church. But I'm a cafeteria Catholic. I pick the things I like and I ignore the other ones that I don't. So, I can't be out here lecturing you about what you're doing. But I don't like the hardcore. Like, I can't. No. I believe God is like an all-loving God, wants us to thrive, wants us to be rich, wants us to be successful. Or if I just lived in America too long, I don't know. I can't decide. But, I think God wants us to be good people. Fulfill our talents, because when you're living your true self, when you're doing a job you love, you are giving back to others, no matter how tiny that job may be. A Walmart greeter who is loving what they're doing is emitting love and therefore helping somebody that day. There's no job too small. The girls are in college. We kind of already knew this, Brianna and Aurora, and they want to go to this Christian church. They want to be a part of a Christian community. And Robyn's like, this is so you can meet other young women that believe like you. And the girls are like, we're guys. We're looking to date, and we want to meet men with our values. And Robyn is like, you can tell Robyn is shocked. She is shook. She's like, well, that is not a good reason to like join a church just to meet men. Okay, Robyn, you know what? I'll give you a half a point for that. Good point. Good point. But, it's not a bad place either because they do have some morals. They got a religious foundation. That's not a bad thing. But I love this. By the way, Brianna looks exactly like Robyn. They both the girls do. The mouth shape, the mouth turned upside down. So anyhow, Robyn is worried about them dating those men. And I just found this whole scene hysterical. They're going to go church shopping. They're going to find a new church, which is so funny. I've definitely church shopped too. Is anybody else? I've been to like an evangelical, and nothing wrong with any of them. Evangelical. What else have I been to? I feel like I've tried a couple different ones, like mega churches. I didn't try that Hillsong. I don't think I ever went to a Hillsong one. Anyhow, I think it's just because I was raised Catholic, so I enjoy the mass. I think it's like what you're used to. But they're going to go church shopping. Robyn got her red flag up that these girls want to get out there and meet guys with them Christian values. Robyn, they're in college, girl. Let these two go out and be slutty. All right? Okay, this was actually the best part to me is always the end of these episodes. Always, always. They save the best for last. I enjoyed the cake tasting so much in Utah with all the different cakes with David and Christine. David is a riot. First of all, David has no idea what a naked cake is. He's like, I have no idea what a naked cake was. I thought it was when someone comes out, they hold a cake naked. It's like, David, what weddings have you been to, bro? I mean, or he thought someone popped out of a cake naked. You think Christine? Okay, she just came from a polygamy family where 2 years ago, she wouldn't let him have like Coca-Colas. Let alone, I mean, she didn't even say the word sex. You think she's having somebody nude pop out of your cake? I love this man. I was rolling. The cake tasting, first of all, again, they brought like 15 people to this cake tasting. That really wasn't a cake tasting. I would hope to God they purchased like all 10 of those cakes. I mean, this was a cake, like a cake party, a cake walk. Okay. We walk in through 18 of these cakes, and it took these women probably 5 days to make them. I'm sure it was all sponsored for the show. The cakes looked awesome. Christine and David inform us that they are not going with the fondant. I agree. I never got into a fondant. It's great if you're trying to make a cake into like a dinosaur, but it's really not that tasty. It's such a weird consistency, isn't fondant? It's like almost like Play-Doh, but it tastes sweet. So chewy. Oof. I'm with you guys. And then the girls joke about David getting a booby cake because the women that are running like the cake shop here, they're like, oh, is he going to have a groom's cake? He's like, what's that? And so then the girls are like, yeah, and maybe it'll be made out of set of tits and maybe it'll be Christine's. And he's like, yeah, now you're talking. He perked up. You know what I mean? David's like his shoulders got real back. He was excited about that scene. I thought it was funny. Truly's there. Poor Truly. At this point, we're just like, Truly, buckle up, sis. You might be 14, but that ship has sailed. We're on a #1 TV show. I'm getting remarried. I'm wearing a JJ dress, and David's going to have a cake in the shape of my memories. So let's go, Truly. Poor Truly. She's just sitting there like, oof. Hopefully Truly's keeping a journal. She'll write her book someday. David describing the naked cake just hysterical. Like, took the show away. And then, you have to love David Woolley. Who doesn't love him? People like at me all the time. They're like, I know you love him, but you're ignoring the red flags. What red flags? The guy says to Christine, because they can't decide on the raspberry-filled cake, they can't decide on this cake or that. He's like, just order them all, babe. Like, isn't that what every woman wants to hear? Thank you. This man is so ride or die for her. He's like, order 3 cakes. Let's just have them all. I mean, granted, I think they had like 300 people at this wedding, so I mean, they might as well order 3 cakes. So good. Loved the cake tasting scene. Okay, by the way, before we end with the most giant slip up last night by Kody, completely inserting his foot in his mouth again, 2 housekeeping things that I want to tell you about. I got a full lineup of shows this week. Tomorrow on the podcast, Jesse Smollett. Jesse Smollett's attackers, Ola and Bola, who carried out the fake hoax attack against Jesse Smollett, are on my show. They've written a book bigger than Jesse, and they have a conspiracy theory where they believe Jesse set them up to, do this whole racial homophobic attack in order to pass a government bill to end lynching in this country. We'll get into it tomorrow. It's very fascinating, and I don't think that far off. The other thing is, of course, I'll be live on TikTok, and I will be talking about all the pop culture of the week, including updates in the JonBenet Ramsey case. And hopefully we'll have some other information of what is going on with the murder of this Healthcare United CEO in New York City. As of the recording of this podcast, the killer has still not been arrested. Going to be a good week. Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good podcast is on the show Thursday. Ryan Bailey is my new best friend. I love Ryan Bailey. So good at what he does. We are doing pod trades, so I will be on So Bad It's Good, and Ryan Bailey coming on my show this week. That'll be on Thursday. Friday, I'll have Mr. David Yontif from Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. We give you all the Bravo dirt. Saturday, the same thing. And Sunday, I usually play an episode, very popular episodes in case you missed it, because there's no way to really effectively search for a past podcast episode. It's very strange on Apple or Spotify. They don't allow you to make most downloaded episode lists. They don't allow you to make like category lists. It's very strange. The other housekeeping thing is, you may have heard I have officially launched my podcast courses. Go Big Podcasting. GoBigPodcasting.com by moi, Sarah Fraser, is officially here. Podcasting 101 has already launched. That is the very basic beginner level. If you've always thought about starting your own podcast, buy this podcast course for $9. When you use the promo code CYBER10, we're extending that throughout the entire month, you get 10% off. This is your year. I'm going to start doing a lot more about my podcast, what I've learned, my podcast tips, secrets, predictions in 2025. But for now, sign up for that course. And when you go to gobigpodcasting.com, you can also get the countdowns for my Podcasting for Pros and my 6-Figure Master Plan. 6-Figure Master Plan is an unbelievable course. It's truly how I have made money, thousands of dollars every month. You can be doing the same. There are so many podcasters making a full-time living that they don't talk about it. They don't talk about the secrets and tips. And that's because a lot of podcasters don't know. I've been in this business 8 years. No more gatekeeping. I'm giving you the roadmap. So get signed up at gobigpodcasting.com. The scene that was so wild is we come back to Kody, who makes a huge slip up because we're talking about Christine and David's upcoming wedding. We know it's about 45 days away at this point because the women at Boda Dress say they have 45 days to pull off and make Christine, hopefully, the wedding dress of her dreams. And then we go to Kody. And Kody says, Christine told her kids. Then he goes, our kids, that I had my soulmate with Robyn and she was going out to find her soulmate. And they have decided to have a whole nother family without me. Excuse me? First of all, what a slip up. Him basically going, Christine's kids. You were there. I think you were pretty active and made them. Such a giant Freudian slip. I guess it wasn't that Freudian, knowing him. Also they talked about towards the end of this episode, how they don't believe, Kody and Robyn do not believe any of their children are going to be living polygamy. Brianna's sort of like maybe, But Kody admits that none of his girls, and certainly he doesn't think any of his boys, will be practicing polygamy. You think? Yeah. I think they've seen it epically fail. The teaser for episode 14 I thought was kind of lame and boring. It's going to be Christine and David's engagement party. But again, this show, what I love about this show is every week it does surprise me. Every week something big is dropped. I mean, last week with the whole Meri allegedly throwing Janelle under the bus, like that was good. I'll be curious to hear y'all's reactions throughout the day, though, today, because I did think this episode, one of the big complaints this season from people has been, we've already seen Christine get married. Why are we seeing all this stuff? I'm fast forwarding through scenes. And if you felt that way, we're obviously, it's the countdown to her wedding because we're getting a lot of Christine and David. So the preview next week is very weird. Kody and Robyn are out to dinner. He gives her some bizarre analogy where he trusts God and God's his wingman. And he knows by turning it over to God that Robyn will never wander from him. Okay. Huh? What? Who? And then we're going to get to the engagement party. And Peyton is back. Peyton's one of my favorites. Peyton's like, they've known each other 2 hours. They've been engaged 3 hours. And now we've got to go to an engagement party? Anyhow, it's so good. Okay, love you all so much. Jam-packed episodes all week long here at TSFS. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.